So my grandparents, John and Joyce Rogers, homesteaded here in 1956 from Kansas. Broke this farm out of sagebrush, and so growing up, I was out here as much as I could. And I guess that's where my love of ag and farming came from, especially the pigs, because that's what my grandfather did. But most of all, I could just see that it was a way that I wanted to raise my family. So about 10 years ago, my wife and I were able to purchase the home and the buildings, and the next year we purchased 20 acres, and my grandma moved to town. And after she passed, we were able to buy the rest of the farm, thanks to some family members and people that kind of had lined things out in order for us to get it. It truly was, God had a hand in us getting this farm. I knew my grandparents had set it up in their will, as kind of a set price, and I had gone to the banks and had everything kind of lined up that when my grandma passed, that we would buy the farm from the estate. And when that time came, we actually got the paperwork. I signed it because I had done all my research, and when we went to the bank, we found out that buying the farm would put our debt ratio too high and they couldn't do it. So we actually had 90 days to come up with the money if we were going to buy the farm. And so we started talking around to some friends, and went and looked at some government programs. They had just come out with a new program that my wife and I applied for, and ended up getting that, which took care of half of it. And the bank would have done the other half, but my wife's family had sold some property, and so my father-in-law was kind enough to loan us some money on the other part. So really, like I said before, I thank God, because I know that He had a plan in that. But that was a lot of sleepless nights, because since I was old enough to remember, the only thing I ever wanted to do was farm my grandpa's farm. As I got older, I could tell that I probably couldn't just farm 160 acres and be viable. But still, I wanted to keep the farm in the family and keep moving forward and do things like that. Whether I had to work in town and do both, then that's what I would do. But that's probably just, the help of family and friends and the good Lord looking after us was really the reason we got this farm. So we've actually been on this place for 10 years, but we just lived a quarter mile down the road 15 years prior to that. So we've been in this area on this farm for 20 years. And it's been great. I've got 4 daughters, and they enjoy it. They enjoy the livestock. We raise sheep, show pigs, goats, and we've had cattle in the past. There's a chance we might be getting back into the cattle business a little bit, but we raise most of our own feed on our own ground, so that's pretty exciting. We do rent out part of the farm and to a neighbor. And then I also work in town. I work for Agri-Service. We sell AGCO equipment, and my wife also works in town. So most every weekend is some sort of farming activity, trying to get caught up from the week of us and being gone to work and the kids being gone to school and doing that kind of thing. So farming's taught me a lot of things: patience, trust, hard work. Growing up with my grandpa out here, there's not a lot of easy days, and there's always something to do. And so I'm not the type of guy that likes to sit around and do too much. My wife and I sometimes joke about, what it would be like if we lived in town, and I had a riding lawnmower for just a little yard. I guess I could golf. I don't mind golfing, but I don't think I could do it all the time. But out here, you get to work with your hands. There's always something different to do. I love livestock, and I love showing kids livestock, getting them involved in different things. It just teaches them a sense of responsibility, because they're actually taking care of another life. So, there's been some lessons learned out here with my kids, as far as sometimes chores might not have got done quite right, and start talking about stuff at the dinner table where they've had to leave the dinner table and go back out and finish their chores, because around here we try to feed the animals before we feed ourselves. So there's lots of programs, there's lots of things out there that if you really put your head down and try for, you can get some assistance. But there's plenty of ways to start, and it sometimes, you know, it doesn't seem like you're doing a lot, but it's going to help you in the long run. So I would just encourage you, if you're trying to do it, you're looking at doing it, there's plenty of different ways to do it, but you just got to be willing to put your neck out there a little bit and try. So, you know, there's lots of older people coming out of the ag community that they're looking for young people, and there's programs and different things that there is some benefits out there, but you got to go get them. You have to work hard. You may have to work in town and do stuff at nights and weekends like we do. We're pretty fortunate. My work schedule is fairly flexible, and I can keep caught up on most everything I need to do, even in the summertime when we're haying and doing things like that. But yeah, just put your head down and ask around and work hard and start small and grow from there.